So at the beginning of this writing process for this album and just coming together and learning how we work together as musicians, you would come up with these little ideas and you would send them to me and be like, how are you going to tackle this? And so I would write lyrics to it. So that was a crazy process and something that I was already used to doing. Mm-hmm. But then as time went on, we learned, and you told me, like, this is how we're going to have to start to do this.
I could just hear that it wasn't the way it should be.
I wasn't able to connect. Exactly. So
yeah.
Boom. And so you're like, you have to start it yourself. Mm-hmm. So
which I knew you could. I knew you could, because the first time we did Bad Bones, I just had a little riff, and it came out. And that was the first time I ever wrote a song with someone.
Yeah, and I improv'd it, which was like something that a lot of my friends joke, like, oh, you should be writing songs all the time if you can improv it. So you said, okay, enough of the improv. You have to start it, give me the melody, give me the lyrics, and from there, then
I'll make
we'll
a song
do the
around
instrumentation. And so that was really tricky for me because, like, I wasn't used to that process, but it put all of that I needed inside of me to be like, okay, let's just innately come out with this. And it doesn't always happen overnight, but some of those ideas, they just come out. And gosh, for you, once I give you that and I send you that idea or that song that you're like, yeah, this is the one, how do you take that and what's your process with that?
First, I freak out. I absolutely freak out. And I freak out probably for days, maybe weeks even, just thinking,
like, how do you even encapsulate that?
Where do I start?
Yeah.
Where do I start with?
I couldn't even imagine, because here I am starting it and be like, okay, Chad, this is what I have, and let me leave you be.
Yeah.
I feel like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, and that's what I tell myself
like,
every single time.
Yeah.
And I just try to do I try to figure out chords, first of all. Where are the chords, and how can I put them into the song? Once I get the chords all throughout the song, with evolution, try to change things up and keep the song moving.
Yep. Because you never want it to be the same, obviously.
Right.
You want to change up and have its different, all that good stuff.
Just keep it flowing.
Yeah.
And then I'll start adding more until I either, basically until I know where the direction is going.
Yeah.
That can take days. Sometimes it just happens. Like with What Kind of Trouble, that song, that took months of me trying to figure out how to do that.
Took me like 2 months to write it. It's totally unlike me. Normally it's like more instinctive. But it's like sometimes that process, it just has to be. It just cuts all this bad stuff out and it gets you to the point.
Yeah. That's the scariest part of writing music for me is, okay, yes, we have a green light. This is the song we're going to do. And then Peter leaves and it's silent. It's silent.
I don't like silence.
Yeah, and then now it's usually just me and the keyboard, sometimes the guitar. And then from there, I don't even know what happens. I don't even know. It's kind of spiritual.
Yeah, you gotta lose your mind and lose yourself in that moment and get the feels, and then it translates and you transcend and you get to the point where you need to have to happen. Mm-hmm. Then it boom.
But then once I have it done, you come in and I say, okay, Peter.
Here's the change up, right? Because here I am, exactly here. I sent it to you in this way, thinking, "Oh, the song's gonna end up like this. It's gonna be all upbeat." But then you flip it and throw me for a loop, like with our song, "What Kind of Trouble." I was thinking, it's gonna be happy-go-lucky, even though in my head I also thought like maybe it shouldn't be. But he took it and then he slowed it all down, and it's all simple and pretty. And I'm like, oh, so now I have to sing it this way. Like it's kind of the same, but it's not.
It's a fun moment. It's a fun moment.
Yeah.
That's probably the second scariest moment.
Terrifying.
Is when I say, here, Peter, here's the song.
Yeah.
Here's what I've spent all this madness
all the time
coming up with, and you have to.
I have to readjust.
Yeah, you have
all
to
my
readjust
thoughts and all of like where I thought it was going, and then it's not. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of again a part of the beauty of working together, because I'm like, okay, now I got to switch this up, and then we go through that transition again of let's relearn, or I have to relearn the song that I started, but then now it's not the way it was initially in my head. So then I got to fit it to that mold, because now we finally have the mold of this is the sound.
Yep.
Now let's take that and put it with it, and then
I love it. I love it. We
have the songs.
We have our songwriting process now. You start with it. You bring it to me, and I'll either say yes or no. Mm-hmm. It's either our style or not, or I can do something with it or not.
Yep.
I do something with it, bring it back to you, say this is how it is. Yeah. And for the most part, you usually say okay, because you know you're ready to just make the song. Yep. Sometimes it doesn't work out, and we'll scrap it and do something else.
Yep.
But then in that moment of recording, we'll figure out how you get back into the actual song. Yeah. And we sometimes have to do that, the vocals, a few different days for you to get, finally, all of a sudden, you're in it.
Yeah, because
and all of a sudden you can just hear it that you're in it now.
Because some of those moments I'm just either I'm not in the mood, or I'm not connecting to it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Like at that moment in time, or that night I come over and we're like, okay, let's put this together, and it's just not feeling the way I thought it was gonna feel.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, okay, let's come back to it a couple days later, and then it's what it needed to be, and it happens. I mean, and it's just takes that amount of time to get it right. And as you were saying before, sometimes those ideas get shot down, but like I remember when I sent you this idea for Hercules, I was like, I had to convince you.
I did not want to do that song.
I had to convince you because I was like, oh, I know this could be something really good. I really liked it. And I'm happy that eventually, over time, you had to really just be like,
Well, even recording the song, when we recorded it, I didn't even really like it. It wasn't until I got back in the booth, or when the silence happened, and finally all of a sudden I did the electric guitar riff, the dun dun ba dun dun ba dun dun ba dun dun ba dun dun dun. That's when I went, okay, all right, that's weird. That's weird enough to be
something.
Yeah, and then it happened. So I'm really thankful that we now have our writing process more or less down pat. Is it going to continue to be that way? I don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows?
For the foreseeable future, I would say yes.
Yeah. I'm really proud, and just very proud of the evolution of our songwriting process to now have the official way that we're doing it.